Hello, UVU students, and welcome. My name is Dr. Jordan Allen, and this is just going to be a very brief tutorial on how to locate academic resources in the communication discipline. And so the first place that we're going to start is on Google. And so if you just type UVU Library into your Google page, it's going to bring up this page, which has the different resources that the library has to offer. And so for us in communication, one of the most basic resources that we use are the various databases. And so databases are online resources that have their fingers in a lot of different pies. And so for us, the database that's going to be most useful is Common Mass Media Complete. Common Mass Media Complete is a database that accesses resources in various communication journals. And so instead of searching each journal one by one, what we can do with Common Mass Media Complete is search a single key term or a title or an author that we're interested in investigating, and it will pull up that search term, author, etc. from various journals. And so if we go here, we're going to use this one search because it's connected to an EBSCO host, which locates it in the most, it has connections with the most journals and journal articles and publishers and things. And it's going to bring us to this very basic search page. And so depending on what you want to search, you might enter an author's name, you might enter just a key term that you want to appear in the article. So one of the most general searches that you can do is a key term search. And we're going to do a key term for estrangement because that is something that's interesting to me. And so what Common Mass Media Complete is going to do is search all of these different communication journals and give us every single article that the word estrangement appears in. And so some of these articles are going to be really interesting to us and some of these are not going to be relevant at all. So because by estrangement I'm interested in family estrangement, this article is going to be very interesting. This article is going to be really interesting looking at how how individuals make sense of parent-child estrangement. This article is going to be less interesting to me. And so, as you can see, this is from Political Media Review, and this isn't dealing necessarily with family estrangement, but more of cultural estrangement. And so one way that we can narrow this even further is by looking at the subject thesaurus, making sure that these terms also appear and coincide with it. And if we do that, then you'll see that we have about 10 journal articles that actually deal with family communication and estrangement. And so if we wanted to locate or if we wanted to get one of these articles, then what we might do is just press this PDF. And this PDF button is going to bring us the full article. And what we really want to do is download that puppy immediately. Something that a lot of students don't know about these articles is that they cost a lot of money to access if you're not a student. So because you're a student, you're paying hundreds of dollars into the library resources, and in turn the library is subscribing to these various databases which give you access to a lot of resources that people not at the university don't have access to. So something that I like to do is, as I'm kind of going through, is just download articles that maybe eventually I would like to read, because once you graduate you lose access to all of these resources when you're no longer paying tuition. And so what I've done is just download these articles to review later. Estrangement is a fairly narrow term. Something that we might want to search that's interesting to many people, particularly in communication, is conflict. And of course, conflict is a much broader term, and so if we are pulling publications all the way back from 1917, we're going to get over 12,000, and that is way too many to review. And so we have a few different options that we might do. If we are interested in conflict still very generally, we might move this up to look at the most recent research of conflict. So we'll even push this up to say, 2010. And that's still going to give us 4,300 articles. Another way to narrow our search is by making our search term more specific. So what we need to do if we were interested in conflict and we were interested in interpersonal conflict is put interpersonal conflicts, but put that in quotations. And so what we're telling the database by putting interpersonal conflict in quotations is that we're really interested in only articles that have these words next to each other. If we didn't put them in quotations, then it would be searching for articles that had the word interpersonal and conflict anywhere in the text. And by putting them in quotations, that's going to narrow our search quite a bit. And so this has narrowed our search to about 140 within the last 9 years. which is much more manageable in terms of reviewing these different articles. So you can see that most of these articles do have a full text. Sometimes you'll come across something in, say, for example, Communication Education that's published very recently. And because it's published very recently, sometimes you need to do a few more clicks, touch on a few more hyperlinks to get that article. And so we'll click through here. It's going to say that it won't give it to us. We're just going to go to the full text finder. And then it's going to bring us directly to the journal. So every journal, every database accesses hundreds of journals. Every journal has its own website where you can access these publications more directly. And so the library has directed us to that page where we can just download the PDF directly from the journal. And most often it will do this. We'll have to go through these steps if A, the article is very, very new, or B, the article is very, very old. And so it's something that might be in the journal archives that they've scanned in, and that we'd have to go directly to the journal for. But as long as you're logged into the library website, you should be able to access all of these journals for free and download these journal articles. And so this has been a very brief tutorial on how to access communication journal articles. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact your instructor, and also the library professors. And so each discipline has a librarian that's there specifically to help students and professors find resources. Our librarian in communication studies is Emily Bullough, and she's amazing and will be able to help you find and locate any resource that you would really need to complete your project. So thank you very much for listening, and happy searching.